Hi butterflies, welcome to my garden. Thanks for supporting my channel. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Hi everyone, it's your girl Calypso. I'm back again. Back again. I feel very different today. I don't even feel like I look like myself anymore. I'm just trying something a little bit different and I feel very Barbie-esque, if you will. I'm I feel very, I'm channeling Miss Giselle Bryant, aka the word on the street. Shout out to Giselle Bryant from the Real Housewives of Potomac. I feel very I feel very hurt today. Um, I mean, this look is very inspired by her. And yeah, anyway, you tell me what you think. So, oh, by the way, if you're new to my channel, hi again, I'm Calypso. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to also hit the notification bell so that way you can always get notified every time I upload a new video. So now let's just get into it. So today I'm talking about things that are a little bit more trans-centered. I don't know if cisgender people might be able to relate to this. I don't know. You just take whatever resonates with you and it is what it is. This is just me. I'm giving a big old internet hug to you all. So thanks for tuning in again. So I'm gonna talk about like I said, is very trans-centered. So you take of it what you will. And by the way, all the opinions that I expressed in this channel, they're solely mine, and we don't always have to agree. We can always agree to disagree. Our opinions don't always have to be aligned or to be in unison. But I'm just here to share my experiences with everyone and give my opinion and be as kind as I can about my opinions. So I'm talking about living stealth versus living open. And this is not to say that one is better than the other. It's just me comparing and contrasting and then giving my opinion. But at the same time, I'm going to do my best to be fair to both sides. So for those of you who don't know what living stealth is when a transgender individual, male or female, blends and passes as cisgender and therefore adopt a cisgender lifestyle, a cisgender identity in order to navigate through the world. So this could be a trans man who people perceive to be a cisgender man, looks like one, acts like one, talks like one, behaves like one, thinks like one. So he's thought of as a cisgender man and therefore he blends in and lives a stealth life. Or this could be a trans lady or a trans girl, trans woman, whatever, who looks like a cisgender woman and blends in completely and adopts a more cisgender heteronormative lifestyle. So I'm going to start by talking about the pros of each, and then I'll talk about the cons of each. So living stealth. So in terms of living stealth, here are the pros that I've been able to come up with. By the way, I know girls who live stealth and I've had conversations with several. I'm not naming any names out of privacy and respect for their privacy, but I've had extensive conversations with several people and I've taken down notes and I understand each side. Okay. Oh, by the way, I've had this lingering cough for about a month now. So came down with a cold, but everything's pretty much gone except for the lingering cough. So every now and then you might see me sipping some water in between talking and running my mouth. I'm being so silly. Okay, let's get into it. So, in terms of the pros, now, living stealth can present a sense of safety, where you're a little bit safe and protected from being discriminated against and being a source of mockery to people. Because let's be honest, discrimination, transphobia is still very much alive and well, even in 2021. It's still very much present, it's still very much visible, and it's still a very real thing. It's still a reality for a lot of trans individuals, male or female. So living stealth can present that sense of safety, and it's a little bit more drama free in the sense that yes, as much as I love my trans brothers and sisters, some of us live in the sunken place. Some of us can be so dramatic. Some of us can, we tend to, we tend to tear each other down. Because I'm telling you, I've had girls who have, you know, had a bone to pick with me for no reason, for the most trivial, dumbest things, you know. And so I just ignore the drama and try to block it out because it's not who I am, it's not what I'm about. But living a stealth life can also excuse you, or you don't have to deal with all that drama as much, or be a part of it, or be at the center of it, whatever it is. You don't have to be a part of that drama as much. So that's also a pro, definitely. Now you get to live a more quiet lifestyle, you know, safe, safety, drama-free, quiet as well. Quiet in this, and also that sense of peace and quiet can also help you to prioritize other parts of your life that don't have anything to do with your gender identity. It can help you prioritize your business aspirations, your career aspirations, your passion projects. You know, you could easily chase being a writer, you know, like a Janet Mock. She was a writer for Marie Claire before she came out in, I believe it was 2011. Like, she lived a stealth life. Janet Mock was, because I read her autobiography, Redefining Realness, and it is a good book, y'all. Y'all should really get into it. And she talked about her early life up until her gender confirmation surgery, and after that, she pretty much went stealth and adopted a more cisgender lifestyle, and, you know, was about her business and about her career, and was this career girl in New York City, writing and pursuing writing and dating and whatever. And, you know, I'm not mad at that. She came out and she's living open now, but that's who she was, and that's just an example of somebody who lived a stealth life for a period of time in her life. So there's that, and then there's also easier access to spaces. And by what I mean easier access to spaces, like you can walk into a bar, you can walk into a straight bar, or just any bar. You can walk into any bar without fear of being picked on. You can have easier access to spaces that might not necessarily be um, safe spaces for trans people, but you can access that spaces if you're blended and if you pass and if you're living stealth. Like, I have girlfriends who go to clubs, who go to places that I or many other girls will not be able to go because I'm more on the open side. And you get easier access to opportunities, like career opportunities. um, Example of someone like Tracy Norman, who was a high fashion model in the 70s, and she was killing it in the fashion industry. She was stealth. She didn't identify as a trans woman, she just identified as a woman. I think she still identifies as just a woman, which is fine, to reach around. This is not to knock her, but she had easier access to opportunities, and she had easier access to getting jobs in the fashion industry. But also, a lot of girls who live stealth lifestyles, they can also get easier access to employment. You know, you can attend job interviews and get jobs, whether it's as a paralegal, or it can be as a teacher, or it could be as a nurse or a doctor or a carer. It could be any career opportunities, but it's a lot more easier when you live a stealth life and you don't really have to explain to people or out yourself to anyone, because you look the part, you talk the part, you behave the part, and you think the part. So that way it helps you navigate through society easily when you live a stealth lifestyle, or you're living stealth, just to put it short. So there's those things, and then you also have an easier access. I don't know, not everybody aspires to marriage and settling down in love, but for those girls or those men that do, you have a more easier access to gaining that in the more traditional, conventional sense, where you're playing a much more traditional gender role. You're the man, I'm the woman, or you're the woman, I'm the man, whatever the case may be. Like I said, this is not just about trans girls, it's also about trans men. So you have a much more easier access to finding love and falling in love. Although you're not necessarily being authentic, but you can easily gain access to finding those, to finding those, um, achieving those aspirations if that's your thing, because not everybody aspires to that, but for those that do, it's easier to get it as a stealth person. Because let me tell you something, I dabble in online dating as well, and it is, at some point it becomes very exhausting when you have to explain yourself to people. mm, okay, maybe explain yourself to people is not the right way to put it, but when people discover that I'm trans, because it's on my profile, some there's somebody who, some people might just completely get turned off and, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, unmatch, whatever. And then there are some guys who are curious, and they have like 101 questions to ask me. And it turns into like a 60-minute interview. You know that show 60 Minutes? It feels like a 60 minutes interview, only that I'm the one who's been interviewed and asked. And sometimes they can be quite disrespectful with your questions and they don't even realize it. But yeah, if I live the stealth lifestyle where I don't have to disclose that part of myself to people, or potential dates or potential mates or whatever, um, it's easier and it's a lot less. You don't really have to take that protocol or due process of answering questions or discussing your trans identity. Now, unless you meet somebody who is trans attracted and open about it, then that's different. But in most cases, a lot of men aren't, or a lot of men are ashamed, so they have a lot of questions, and I don't know. So anyway, I digress. Living stealth gives you a much more easier access to these things, love, dating, marriage, whatever. By the way, I think I might make this a two-part video because it's going to be quite lengthy, because I have a few things to touch on. Now, we'll talk about the pros, and again, this is just my opinions. You don't have to agree with me, but it is what it is. I would love your feedback. I would love to know what you think about everything that I've stated so far, and it is what it is. So now I'm going to talk about the cons. So now I'm going to talk about the cons of living stealth. So in terms of the cons, there's some type of this is, by the way, this is based on several conversations that I've had with a few girls. No names necessary, I respect their privacy. And there's a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, that comes where they feel like they're missing out on things. When they look online and they see all the girls who are out and proud and living their lives and standing 2 feet in their truth and being their authentic selves, there's a sense of FOMO, there's a sense of missing out, and that can often turn them a little bit bitter and a little bit angry and transphobic as well. There are some girls who are stealth that are quite transphobic, and they're quite harsh of other trans girls and trans men who are open. And again, no names necessary, but that's a real thing. And then also another con that I think is very important to note is there's always that cloud of secrecy that follows you everywhere, because you have this anxiety like, oh my god, I'm holding this secret in, and it's only a matter of time before somebody blows my spot. So it's almost like a mental countdown to, okay, when is my spot gonna get blown? Like, look what happened to Tracy Norman. Tracy Norman is a beautiful African American transgender model who gained prominence in the 70s in the fashion industry, where she was featured in high fashion editorial spreads, and she landed high profile ad campaigns for cosmetic and beauty brands, and she was steadily working in the 70s until her trans identity, which was meant to be a secret, was discovered by an assistant who then leaked it, and this resulted in her being blackballed from the industry, where she couldn't find work. And then she turned to ironically, the trans community who embraced her identity and gave her back her life and made her feel like she was somebody up until she was featured in a New York Times article which revitalized her career and gave her the triumphant return to modeling where she received the respect and the recognition as well as the justice that she was long overdue and which she deserved. So she is a prime example of how living stealth can result in a lingering cloud of secrecy which can who knows the kind of anxiety she was going through during that period, but this is a real thing that a lot of trans girls experience. Luckily, she's one of the more lucky cases because she made it out on the other side seemingly triumphant. So good for her. You can see how living stealth affected her, but luckily for her, she was able to gain redemption. I believe it was in 2015, if I'm not sure, when she got reached out again by Clairol to do an ad campaign for Clairol based around her, and they were basically embracing her as an out and proud trans woman because after her career went dry in the fashion industry, who did she turn to? The trans community. And the trans community embraced her and they welcomed her and they celebrated who she was. And she got to be her authentic self. So that's also something to keep in mind. There's always that cloud of secrecy that lingers around when you have that stealth, when you adopt that cisgender lifestyle and you're living stealth. So that's something to also consider. Now, another con of living stealth is there's also the possibility of blackmail. Now, in also dealing with the cloud of secrecy lingering around your identity or having that anxiety of when someone's going to blow your spot can also lead to that fear of being blackmailed. Now, a prime example of this is Nikki Tutorials. She's Nikki Tutorials. Now, I'm I'm a fan of Nikki Tutorials and I've followed her for years. I followed her for years up until I followed her for years. I still follow her actually. I follow her on Instagram and everything. And yeah. I think by now most of us who are familiar with YouTube makeup gurus all know the story of Nikki Jaga, also known as Nikki Tutorials, who up until last year, I believe it was in January, most people had no idea that this girl was trans. I followed her for years. Gorgeous girl, love her videos, love her style. However, nobody knew until the potential of blackmail forced her to come out. She did say that she intended to come out on her own accord, but the potential of the blackmail sped up the process. And when she did that, the video went viral and she was applauded basically for her courage and her braveness. And I think it's also done good things for her because it's expanded her audience and she has been embraced by the trans community as well. And I think she's also gotten a lot of more prospects professionally. She was one of the recent hosts of Eurovision, I believe, and girlfriend is killing it. She is doing well. Even her now fiance, who didn't realize that she was trans as well, he still stood by her and he still fully supports her and he's still with her. So also, I believe that she's one of the more lucky cases because not every case or every story like this has an happy ending. So she was one of the lucky ones, and I think ultimately good for her because she is also a positive role model for a lot of trans people. So say what you will, but these are real valid points that go with it, and it all comes with the territory of living stealth because while there are advantages to living stealth, there are also disadvantages as well. And I think due to social media as well, it's a lot harder nowadays to live stealth because everything is on the internet now. And if you post a picture of the internet, if you post a picture on the internet, not off the internet, if you post a picture on the internet of, let's say, prior to transitioning, there might be pictures of you online that someone in your family has posted or that you might have posted, you know, prior to transitioning. People can easily dig that stuff up and use it against you at some point. So I think nowadays, with the presence of social media, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, social media is going to be around for a long time, and it only seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it seems to be like an insatiable beast. So you just got to know how to not let it consume you, I guess. But in saying that, social media makes it a lot harder for people to be stealth as well. So now, I understand why girls choose to live stealth, because trust me, living open can sometimes take its toll on you as well. But at the same time, living stealth can also take a toll on you psychologically and mentally, because it can be a big source of stress, having that anxiety and having to deal with the possibility of being blown up or being outed by, you never know, you know, you never know. Yeah, that possibility or that fear or that anxiety that surrounds it is a real thing, and it can cause some mental stress. It can lead to depression in a lot of cases. Like, there's a lot of one of the girls that I know, she from time to time, struggles, and um it's a real fear that she deals with, but she feels like there's no other way to be, because she's been doing it for so long. But it is what it is, and all I can do is just reassure this person that, look, whenever you choose to go out, to be out and proud and living your truth, always know that there's always going to be a community of people and community of friends that are willing to embrace you and that are willing to support you and give you a fresh start, because it's never too late to start again. So that's just my 2 cents of on living stealth. And I hope I'm not trying to put down girls. If you choose to live stealth, that's up to you. But make sure you have all your ducks in a row, and make sure you have people that respect what you're doing. Like, if you have a partner, or if you're able to fall in love and find somebody, at some point you're going to have to tell him, and he has to be mature and kind enough to respect what your journey and respect what you're doing and respect where you're coming from. You also have to have a community of supportive friends and family, if you're lucky enough to build that army of support, that, okay, this is who I am and I need you to respect that and never bring it up. you know like, don't bring it up, don't talk about it, don't discuss it. And yeah, if they're really your friends, then they would understand. Or, you know the easiest thing that a lot of girls do is they move to a whole new region and start all over again. Ultimately, you have to do what you can to survive and navigate the world, because, like I said, discrimination and transphobia is still a very real thing. It's still very much real and very much visible. And you just have to find a way to navigate and flow like water, and, you know, maneuver through life. So yeah, that's my part one, and I'll be back again with the part two of this video, where I talk about living open. So in the meantime, protect your energy, love and light to all of you, and keep the peace, and be kind to one another. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Bye.